The only reason that people were created was to glorify God, right? So he can use us in whatever way that he needs to. A lot of times he gives us a lot of situations and experiences where, it challenges us and it grows, but it's also our pain is for somebody else's purpose sometimes and to help somebody else heal. I'm in a healing profession. I'm a licensed marriage and family therapist and I have a group practice. I work with people all day to acknowledge themselves, to work on their healing journey, to resolve concerns and issues that they feel like they're having in their life. I got a text message from one of my clients today saying, I can't wait to, update you on this and da 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 da. This just happened. And I'm like, okay, great. And I just see them on Thursday. Today is Monday. I don't even work on Mondays. But they reach out, they'll give me updates, or even when we discharge, they'll be like, hey, I just want to let you know what's happening in your life. But that's community, and that's what God also honors too. And also he'll use the least to get the max of what he wants. So it's not like the usual suspects, all these little famous people or famous adjacent people and things like that. Listen, he qualifies the call. I just happen to be one of them. But I call it like this. If you feel a strong tug, and a tug can be like, you're somewhere and you like, not today. You can't go here. You cannot go here. Or, you get this strong, like absolute no. Also, sometimes it's just the voice of God coming. And sometimes we want it to be like, coming out of the sky. This is my son in whom I will please, right? You gonna get that sometimes. It may not feel that good when he's getting on you. Other times, again, it's trusted people who repeated messages that keep coming up, like repeated messages. I've had some people say, a friend of mine really never wanted to be a minister, didn't want nothing to do with the church. People come saying, oh, so are you an evangelist? Are you a minister? It's like, what are you talking about? I don't even go to church and I ain't going. Fast 4 years later, what is he doing? Laying people out on the pulpit, right? It's one of those things you got to pay attention to what God is telling you. If you're feeling this leaning to return to the faith or just pick up the Bible, read it. Ain't nothing wrong with reading the Bible. I'm telling you, even if you don't understand it, you think it's like a book of all these great stories, right? You're going to get something from it. He's going to be calling. He's calling you to it. There's a reason why it's resonating with you. So pay attention. Also, if it's something that you're fearful about, but it's been on your heart and on your mind, likely you're getting called to it. It's a lot of different ways that we are called to many different reasons. And again, some people think about ministry as being official, like I got to be preaching and everything else. My practice is a ministry. Our life is a ministry, right? And so people who are wanting to get fit, people who are wanting to, change the health trajectory of others, that's a form of ministry. People who always say like, I feel the need to just encourage people. That's a calling too. That's a ministry. You're not officially on a microphone or anything like that, but you are serving the Lord in the capacity that he has for you. Go forth and conquer. Keep doing it. Learn what true love is like as early as possible. Understand that God loves you regardless. You can make mistakes and he doesn't hold them like we hold them and other people hold us accountable for it. Now, do we have accountability with him? Yes. But do we have correction? We have care. We have concern. We have grace. We have mercy. We have unconditional love. Absolutely. Learn what that is so you're not searching for it with people who can't really give it to you or who are out never to give it to you because you're such an energy source for them because you're searching for it in the wrong places. Let's knock it out so you can know what healthy love is like. So then you can actually love somebody in a healthy way and then receive healthy love in the back end, right? You only really can do that when you tap into the source called God, right? God is that one that can teach you everything about it if you're open to receiving it. And so do that. Learn what love is, true love, so you can give it and you can also receive it at the same time. So your cup is not empty. Your well is not dry. You can always be a servant and be served at the same time because God knows that he loves us and we matter. You got to know that too. And only way you can really know that is through God. I don't judge people. I accept people for who and what they are. I meet them where they are within reason because again, if you're counterproductive to what I'm trying to do with my life, I'm praying for you, but I'm not sticking with you. I can't be around you because that's going to bring me down instead of lifting you up. Uh, However, I display and I really feel like I live a life of transparency and truthfulness. still learning vulnerability and how to get deeper into it and being more comfortable with it. Right? But I also challenge people to grow and be better based upon what they want for themselves. I'm not going to want something more for somebody than they want for themselves because that's going to set me up and I'll be not able to sleep at night and they'll be perfectly fine living their life and I want more, right? That's not for me. But what I will do is say, hey, somebody says, hey, I want to do this. Or, I want to write a book. I'm like, hey, I have to sit down. Do you know what the book is and everything else? Here's some people who helped me. I'll share alike, right? I'll also be an encouraging voice because other people have encouraged me along this journey as well. And I have been completely thankful for them and really grateful for what they have poured into my life. But also when I was, you know, not doing what I was supposed to be doing. They're like, get back to it, sis. And I'm like, oh, okay, let me go. Right. But I need that. I think we all need that. Right. You should definitely have people in your life that challenges you to grow consistently and constantly, and definitely more than one. You should never be the smartest person that you know. You should actually be the least smartest person that you know. So every season that you're going through, get smarter people. They will be able to take you, and it's gonna be so much discomfort, I will tell you that. Some days you just be sitting over there, like, with tears in your eyes, and sometimes it's gonna be that ugly cry. But guess what? There's tissue for that. They'll help you wipe your nose, and they'll be like, "Okay, let's get it," and get back out there and do what you're supposed to do, right? Because a lot of times, our voices are stolen and our choices are too, with our voice being gone, right? So I like to empower people to make those choices as they see fit, and when God is involved, how to seek Him, how to really hear from him, and then go forth and conquer, even if you are afraid. Because again, there's many times I've done things afraid. So again, for instance, I had my first retreat this year. I was so scared, but I was like, I gotta keep going. I gotta keep going. Because every time I was like, well, maybe I should postpone it. January 25th is the day he gave me. And I was like, I'm not doing it on the 26th. I'm not doing it on the 31st because I'm not gonna be disobedient. No. And it went off and it was really good January 25th. Now the other 2, I'm doing it. Also, I'm doing a book signing and everything else, so I'm getting that prepared. Um, and so I think with me, it's also being an example of what it means to just push through and keep going, even when you're scared, even when you're confident, even when you're anxious, even when you're depressed, even when you're grieving, right? What does it mean to take time for yourself? But then also, how do you keep going with the things that God has for you? Order my steps. He's already doing it, but I got to get back into the flow. You know what I'm saying? If I stepped over to the left and he said, "Didn't I tell you 3 steps to the right?" Then I got to fly back over there to the right side, right? And so just keep it going and see on where the momentum is. Also with my retreats, I've done a dream retreat, meaning um, not like when we go to sleep and dream, right? But these are the dreams like in the day, like, oh, I wish I could do this and I wish I could do that. Working with people, okay, like what's the barriers? What's holding you back from taking that first skip? That's the big leap, right? To get to your dreams and then holding your feet to the fire and getting it done, right? I'm also working on a men's retreat, um, talking about men and vulnerability. Um, I've had conversations with many men and I'm asking them about vulnerability, like, how do you share your true self? And they're like, what do you mean? You know, I need a safe space. And many men tell me they don't have safe spaces. And it's like, okay, well, how do you create it? Because everybody needs it, right? How do we let go of the chains of, I got to be strong. I got to be a provider. I don't have any emotions, or I got to be there for everybody else except myself. How do we get rid of those chains? We'll be working on that. But then also, here's a big challenge for men. How do I say I need something and still feel masculine and have it received by the people in my life and not be called weak or, oh, you too effeminate or whatever that we kind of use wrong when somebody says, I'm in need as well. Again, you not on the island of misfit toys by yourself. It's a whole nation out there. And guess what? You'll figure out that you're not a misfit toy either. You are just as normal as the next person because we all have the same trial and tribulation. Now, do we go through the same experiences? Absolutely not. I'm a different person, you're a different person, right? But that does not mean that we can't sit in this space together, encourage each other, hold hands, wipe tears, blow noses, or anything of that nature, right? So I want to talk about certain things that happened in my life along my journey to help people and encourage people and say, hey, I wish I had this book when I was going through a lot of different things. And so now they always say, if it's not there, that means it's for you to create. And so this book is my foray to help somebody in their season of waiting and give them real tips, give them key takeaways, and give them pointers to navigate it and stay sustained and stay on track so they can get their promise after they've prayed. Another thing that people ask me about is how do you wait good? Listen, I have not always waited good. Again, waiting is a challenge for me. I stopped praying for patience when I was 26 years old after a coworker of mine said, "You've been praying for patience?" And I said, "Yeah," thinking that God was gonna magically make me patient. And she said, "Girl, let me tell you something, what you really just asked for." And I said, "What?" She was like, "He gonna put you in situations where you gotta be patient." I was like, "Oh no, no, let me stop right now. Let me stop." Right? It's still one of those things. I could be very peaceful and patient about certain things, and other things I'm like, "Ugh," you know. But I have to challenge myself, and I'm like, "Okay, Lord, I asked about this. Like, how many I mean, I'll give you an example. I lose my keys in the house all the time if it's not in my purse, and I'm like, "Lord, help me find my keys." And then all of a sudden, bam, there they go. And I'm like, "Well, if I can do a key prayer like that, why can't you give me the house like that? Why can't my job come up like that? Why can't my spouse come up like that? Why can't my parents love me like that?" Right? And he's like, yeah, the other stuff was gonna take a little bit more preparation because there's a big challenge that I want you to face and you're not ready for it." Now, does he always tell us that? Nope. Mm-mm, not like that. Sometimes he does. Let's be real clear. Sometimes he really does. So when we talk about like, other people have asked me like, how do you hear God's voice? You hear it in the word because you got to condition your ears to hear him. Some people will sit here and tell you that God doesn't do miracles, that God doesn't talk or anything like that because there's too much sin in the world. They are a liar, and leave them alone because what that says is God is not a real God. If it's too much sin, then God is like, "Oh, I can't speak because it's too much sin." Then who is he? You need to challenge those things when people be talking to you about stuff because God in the Bible says, "I am the same yesterday, today, and forever." So if he was talking yesterday, why wouldn't he talk today? And why is he not talking to us forever? Learn how to challenge the lies, right? Or those gray spaces. And the only way you can do that is when you're reading his word. You're conditioning yourself. Just like if you work out, you had to get them muscles. Guess what? That first day of working out, you didn't just come out the gym looking like that. You had to have consistency. You had to have this discipline. You had to eat right and everything else. And that is what the spiritual journey is too. So continue to read, hear his voice, ask him questions, pray and talk to him. I mean, prayer is just a conversation, but then there are also times when you could just be like, "Okay, Lord, I don't even understand this. What you think about this? This thing came up and I've been thinking about this and da 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 da." Don't be surprised if you start getting a feeling, a nudge called the Holy Spirit telling you to do something. And you be like, "Wait a minute, where did that voice come from? Or why am I feeling this?" Okay, Lord, why am I feeling this? Go back to the source. Tap in. When you're praying, be very strategic with your prayers. Don't just be like, "Oh, Lord, I'm praying for a purple moon." I've never seen one, but doesn't mean he can't do it, right? But when you're saying that you want something, you've got to be very strategic with your prayers when it comes to him. Even when you're saying, "I don't have the words for what I'm feeling right now, but I'm going to lay it at your feet anyway." And you got to do what to do with it. So when you're angry, when you're upset, when you are happy, when you're joyful, when you're at peace, when you get that revelation that you're like, "Oh my goodness." Go to God with it all, lay it at his feet. Because a lot of people think that they fooling God saying, "Oh, I'm blessed and highly favored." There's there's a mantle tied to blessings. There's a big mantle tied to favor, right? And so a lot of times, again, we're very casual and cavalier with our words, and we don't really understand what we're saying. But when you sit down and you really think, and even to the point where you take a breath and you just breathe out, you're really saying God's name every time you breathe, right? So if you think about it like that, then the words that come through the portal after this portal called your mouth, right? After his name of, you can be real severe with how they come out, meaning you're going to hold yourself accountable. You're going to be very methodical and intentional about the things that come through here.